It was just after midnight when old farmer Jack Brody stepped out of his house in rural Montana. He held a cup of coffee in one hand and looked up at the stars. It was quiet, as always. No cars, no lights. Just the wide-open sky. Then he saw it. First, he thought it was a shooting star. A bright light streaking across the sky, but it was too big, too fast. And it wasn't falling straight down. It was spinning, smoking, breaking apart in the sky. Like a dying bird, Jack dropped his coffee. The object crashed into the nearby forest with a sound that shook the earth. Trees snapped, fireball rose. And then silence. Jack grabbed his phone, but there was no signal. He jumped into his truck and drove straight toward the crash site. Smoke was already rising above the trees. He had no idea. The world had just changed forever. 12 hours later, the area was locked down by military trucks, helicopters, and drones. No one was allowed near the site. Reporters tried to sneak in, but were stopped. The government said it was a secret. Military tests gone wrong? But people weren't buying it, because videos had already gone viral. A few hikers had seen the crash. One of them had captured a blurry video of the ship before it hit the ground. It was not human. It didn't look like any aircraft on Earth. Smooth metal, glowing lines, and strange markings that no one could read. The internet exploded. People were asking, was it a UFO? Was it aliens? Was it a threat? Meanwhile, inside the forest, the wreckage lay quiet and half-buried in the earth. The ship was torn open like a can of metal. Smoke hissed from broken vents. And around it, strange black pods had scattered across the forest floor. No alien bodies were found. At least. That's what the military said, but that wasn't true. In the nearby town of Ashwood, 15-year-old Eli Carter sat on the roof of his house, looking through binoculars. He lived only 6 miles from the crash site. His dad worked at the military base nearby, but wasn't allowed to talk. Eli had always loved science. Space, rockets, ships, anything not of this earth. And now, something had actually come down from space. And it was right here that night. When the soldiers finally left the forest, Eli took his bike and rode through the trees. He reached the edge of the crash site after an hour of riding. Most of the wreckage had been taken away, but not all. He found something. A small object, half buried under dirt and leaves. It was a metal sphere, the size of a football. Smooth, cold, no scratches. And it hummed softly, like it was alive. He picked it up. The moment his fingers touched the surface, the humming grew louder. Then it lit up. A soft blue glow spread across the sphere. Symbols appeared, glowing alien writing, moving across the surface like water. Eli gasped. He wanted to drop it, but couldn't. The sphere was speaking, not in words, but in pictures. Flashes filled his mind. He saw stars, ships in battle, an alien creature, dying a war, a mission, and then a voice. Not human, but not scary either. Pilot lost, emergency transfer, human detected, beginning link. Eli fell back, the sphere still in his hands. Back at home, Eli locked the door and placed the sphere on his desk. It floated an inch above the surface, spinning slowly. Stared at it for hours. He knew he couldn't tell anyone, not yet. Not the police. Not his dad. Not the news. This wasn't just alien tech. This was a message. A warning. The next day. Strange. Men in black suits arrived in town. They weren't from the army. They asked questions. They searched homes. One of them showed a picture of the sphere to Eli's neighbor. "Have you seen this object?" they asked. Eli watched from behind a curtain. His heart pounded. He backed away slowly and closed his window. That night, the sphere spoke again. This time in English, "I am Kieran. I am not a weapon. I am not a threat. But danger is coming." Eli whispered, "What kind of danger?" "It's the ones who sent me. Will come to erase all evidence, including your world." Eli didn't sleep that night. He didn't know how, but he understood what was happening now. The crash wasn't random. It was a mistake. And now that Earth had touched something it wasn't supposed to. Stars were watching, and something deadly was on its way. Cliffhanger ending line the next. Morning, Eli woke up to the sound of thunder, but the sky was clear. He looked up and saw a second ship entering the atmosphere. Not falling, flying. The second ship flew across the sky like a silent shadow. No smoke, no crash. It moved with purpose. Eli Carter stood frozen in his backyard, his eyes wide as the ship passed overhead. It wasn't as large as the first one, but it was darker, sharper. It made the air feel colder as it moved. The sphere, Kieran, was already glowing again. They have arrived, it said in a calm, quiet voice. The hunters. Inside Eli's room, the sphere floated above his desk, projected a glowing image into the air, something like a map. It's full of stars and alien symbols. Eli stared at it, heart racing. What do you mean, hunters? Are not here to rescue me, Kieran said. They're here to erase me and you. That same night, something strange happened near the crash site. A team of soldiers patrolling the area suddenly vanished. Their equipment was found, but their bodies were gone. The trees were burned in a perfect circle. And not a single sound came from that part of the forest, not even birds. Eli saw it on the news the next morning. The government still called it weather-related. But deep down, Eli knew better. He held the sphere tightly in his hands. Kieran, he asked softly, what are you? The sphere spun faster. Then images flashed again in his mind. But this time, they were clearer. A ship, huge and silver. Inside, an alien pilot hull, thin, with 4 eyes and smooth pale skin. The pilot was holding the sphere, talking to it, trusting it, then a battle, explosions. The pilot hit a red button, and the sphere was launched out. Of the ship away from the fight toward Earth, I was the co-pilot, Kieran explained. More the machine, less than life. I store knowledge. I adapt. I survive. Eli nodded slowly. Why me? Why choose me? Because you touched me, Kieran said. And you believed I was real. Suddenly there was a knock at the front door. Eli jumped. His dad answered it. 2 men in black suits stood there, holding badges. We're here about the object from the crash, one of them said. We believe something was taken from the site, something dangerous. Eli held his breath from the stairs. His dad looked. Confused? We don't know anything about that? The men looked around the room. One of them glanced upstairs. If you see anything strange, he said, call this number. They left. But Eli knew they weren't gone for good. That night, Kieran revealed more. Your world is not ready for what's coming, it said. But I can help, if you let me. How? Eli asked. A soft light filled the room. Then click. Laptop turned on by itself. Screen blinked, flashed, and then a line of alien code appeared. Kieran had entered the system. In minutes, it fixed the laptop, boosted the internet speed, and even made the old radio on Eli's desk start playing songs from across the world without Wi-Fi. Whoa, Eli whispered. You're like magic. Magic? Kieran replied. Technology far beyond your kind. But it can be shared. Slowly, carefully. Eli leaned closer. Can we use it to fight the hunters? Yes, Kieran said. But first we must hide. They are scanning now. No, I survived. Just then, Eli's phone lit up. A message appeared on the screen. It wasn't from any app he recognized. It said, We see you. Eli threw the phone across the room. Kieran's glow changed to red. Right. They have locked onto your signal. Right. We must. Leave this place now. Eli shoved the sphere into his backpack and rushed downstairs, going to the library. He shouted. His dad didn't even look up from the news. Be back by dinner. Eli ran outside and jumped on his bike. He didn't head to the library. He pedaled toward the hills. The only place with no cameras, no signals, and no people. After 30 minutes of riding, Eli reached an old abandoned barn near the edge of the forest. He hid the bike behind some bushes and slipped inside. Dust. Silence. Darkness. Perfect. He pulled out Kieran. Now what? The sphere rose into the air, and sent out a pulsar, sound only machines could hear. Then it spoke. I am reactivating defense protocols. Metal pieces flew out of the backpack, small chunks of tech from the crash that Eli had picked up earlier. Kieran began rebuilding something, piece by piece. Suddenly, sound echoed outside. Something had landed. Eli peeked through the wooden boards. He saw a dark figure, tall, thin, wearing black armor. Not human, it moved like smoke. Silent, smooth. The hunter, Kieran whispered, do not move. Cannot see you unless you move. Eli froze. The hunter stepped closer to the barn. Kieran's glow dimmed. The figure stopped, looked around, then turned and vanished into the trees. Eli collapsed to the floor, breathing hard. We're not safe anymore, he whispered. Kieran's voice returned, cold and clear. This is only the beginning. Cliffhanger ending line. The next morning, the military announced a new mission, a secret program to study the alien wreck. But what they didn't know was that a teenage boy had already unlocked it, and Earth's future now rested in his hands. The sun had not even risen when the second ship appeared again, this time lower, slower, and fully awake. Eli watched from the hills, hidden under the trees. His heart beat fast. Kieran, floating beside him in the air, had gone completely silent. Then it spoke. They are preparing to clean the site, to erase everything, the crash, and anyone who saw it. Eli asked in a whisper, what does clean mean? No survivors. Back at the crash zone, the military had set up fences, cameras, and armed guards. But something was wrong. Every screen showed static, every camera shut down. Drones fell from the sky like dead birds. The soldiers looked up. Something dark moved. Through the clouds, not with sound, but with pressure. Like the sky itself was being squeezed, then the trees around the crash site exploded. Creatures appeared. Not ships, not soldiers, but machines with legs 3 meters tall, moving like shadows. Their bodies shimmered like water. Their arms turned into blades. One soldier fired. The bullet bounced off. Then the machines attacked. Eli heard the screams. From miles away, he grabbed Kieran and ran for his bike. I have to warn someone. You cannot, Kieran said. The hunters are jamming all signals. Earth is deaf now. At the same time, high above Earth, satellites began blinking out. One by one, the planet's eyes in space were shutting down. In a secret control room in Washington, generals and scientists watched helplessly as all feeds went black. What is happening? One of them shouted. The room went dark. Then a single warning appeared on all screens. Do not interfere. This world is not cleared for contact. Eli reached an old junkyard outside town. It used to belong to his grandfather, who fixed planes long ago. Inside was an old fighter jet, broken, rusted. Forgotten, he pointed at it. Kieran, can you fix that? The sphere glowed. Guess, but I will need time and connection. It floated into the cockpit. Sparks flew. The panels lit up with symbols. Wires moved like snakes. The jet began to change. Its nose turned sharper. Its wings extended. The metal changed color, turning silver and black. It was still a jet, but now something more. A human ship powered by alien tech. Hours passed. In the nearby forest, smoke rose. The military base was silent. No signals, no survivors. The hunters had done their job, or so they thought. But they didn't know what Kieran had done. That evening, the modified jet's engines roared to life. Eli stood beside it, amazed. It looked alive. It's ready, Kieran said. But it needs a pilot. Eli stepped back. I've never flown anything. I will guide you. Trust me. The cockpit opened. Eli climbed in. As soon as he touched the controls, the ship responded. HUD turned on. Kieran's voice came through a small speaker. Your hands will feel what to do. The engines roared. The ship rose from the ground, smooth, fast, silent in the distance. One hunter drone spotted them. It sent a signal up to the skies. The second alien ship, still watching from orbit, now turned fully toward Earth, and it sent a warning. Target locked. Purge immediate. Eli felt a pressure in the air. The alien ship had launched something. A spike of black light shot toward the jet. Kieran. What is that? Evasive now. Eli pulled hard left. The jet flipped and twisted, dodging the energy blast by inches. It burned through trees behind them, like fire through paper. Eli's hands shook. I can't do this. Yes, you can. You are not flying alone. They rose higher above the trees, above the clouds. The second alien ship now appeared fully. Sharp angles, no windows. Just a massive black triangle floating above Earth. It charged another weapon. We can't outrun it, Eli said. Then, we don't run, Kieran replied. The jet turned sharply and headed straight for the alien ship. Another spike of black light fired. This time, Eli twisted upward and barely dodged it. He could feel the sky bending around them. The ship responded faster than thought. Kieran's voice guided every move. One more blast incoming cut. Engines now. The jet dropped like a stone and the alien beam shot past, missing completely. Then the engines relit. The jet flew straight, toward a weak spot that Kieran had marked in red. Now, fire everything. Eli slammed the red button to glowing missiles built by Earth. Aimed by Kieran shot forward. They hit the target. A deep explosion burst through the alien ship's side. Fire, smoke, silence. The ship began to fall, down below. In the town of Ashwood, people ran into the streets, watching the black triangle fall from the sky like a burning god. Children cried. Adults froze. No one understood what they were seeing, but one thing was clear. It wasn't a human ship, and neither was the one that brought it down, back in the cockpit. Eli gripped the controls. Kieran's voice came through, softer now. You did it. They know now the others will come. Eli looked down at Earth, then up at the stars. They wanted to erase you, he said, but now the sky's ours. Cliffhanger ending line. Far above, in deep space, something received the alien ship's final message. It opened a new star map, placed a red mark on Earth. Prepare the wipe. The explosion had lit up the night sky. People around the world saw it first on shaky phone cameras, then on the news. A black triangle falling from the heavens, burning, screaming, breaking apart. The media couldn't hide it anymore. The truth was out. Earth had been attacked, and someone somehow had fought back. In Washington, D.C., the president sat in a locked war room. General Harper pointed at the satellite images on the screen. That was not a meteor. That was a ship. Alien. Hostile. The science advisor nodded. But someone destroyed it using tech we don't understand. It wasn't one of ours. The president stood, hands on the table. Then find out who did. It. And prepare the world. 3 hours later, a secret meeting was held at Area 7, a hidden base beneath the Nevada desert. Engineers, scientists, pilots, and military commanders gathered around strange alien parts from the crash. What is this material? One asked. Not metal. Not plastic. It's growing, alive somehow, said another. One man Dr. Jan held up a clear rod pulsing with blue light. This was not just a ship, he said. It was part of something bigger, something smart, something dangerous. Eli Carter sat in the back of an old hangar, staring at the jet. He had flown the one powered by Kieran. The ship looked calm now, resting like a giant bird after a long flight. But inside the cockpit, the alien sphere glowed brighter than ever. They saw us, Kieran said. Eli nodded. They're coming, aren't they? Yes, and this time, they won't send a scout. They'll send a fleet. That night, across the world, strange signals filled the skies. Static pulses. Strange hums that broke into radio stations and military radars. Astronomers noticed patterns in the stars, changing tiny lights blinking in perfect timing. Like countdowns, and then the message came. A deep, electronic voice. BROADCAST across all frequencies. This planet has broken protocol. Technology stolen. Presence denied. You will be erased. Panic hit Earth like a wave, but not everyone panicked. Some stood up, some fought back, and Earth began to prepare. In the labs of Area 7, the Skyfire program was born. The goal, to build Earth's first true warship using alien tech. 3 nations offered their best minds. The pieces of the crashed ship were used as a base, and Ali along with Kieran was brought in secretly to help. They used his fighter jet as a prototype, but Skyfire, one would be much bigger, faster, stronger, smarter. You're the kid who took down that ship? A military pilot asked Eli. Eli shrugged. Kieran helped. The pilot nodded. Then let's hope he helps again. We've got 7 days. Eli looked at the blueprints. 7 days until what? General stepped forward. Until they arrive. Eli and Kieran worked day and night with the team. Kieran taught them how to link human brains to the ship-like thoughts where the control sticks. They used 3D printers, magnetic cores, strange metals, and even pieces from the second alien ship's remains. The hangar echoed with welding sparks, hammering, and the hum of engines waking up. On day 5, Earth's skies changed again. A tear appeared in the clouds above the Pacific Ocean. Something massive was entering orbit. People ran to rooftops, beaches, and windows to look up. It was a gate of black ring the size of a city, and beyond it blurry. Shapes moved in space. The fleet was here. Governments gave one last speech to the world. This is no longer about Earth's future. This is about survival. We will fight. We will defend our skies. Humanity does not kneel. Eli watched the broadcast from inside Skyfire 1's cockpit. The ship was almost done. Its frame was sleek, 4 wings shaped like blades, engines powered by both fuel and light, and a core that pulsed with Kieran's energy. It wasn't just a ship, it was a message. Kieran spoke inside Eli's mind. Skyfire 1 is ready, but she will need a leader. I'm just a kid, Eli whispered. You're the only one who didn't run. That's what matters. The next day, Earth's defense began. Skyfire 1 launched loud, fast, and shining like a star. Drones followed. Modified jets, satellite turrets, ground-based lasers. The alien ships came in waves dark, sharp, and silent. The battle in the sky was violent, beautiful, terrifying. SKYFIR. One moved like no other ship, with Kieran in the core and Eli in control. It twisted, flipped, and cut through the air like lightning. Missiles fired, beams clashed, ships exploded above cities and oceans, and for the first time in galactic history, humans were not prey, they were predators. Back in the alien fleet, commanders watched in confusion. They adapt too fast. Their minds move with machines. Impossible. No species develops this quickly. One of them turned to a dark screen. Begin the white protocol. Cliffhanger ending line. Skyfire 1 returned to base with smoke on its wings. And fire. They had won the first battle. But Kieran whispered in Eli's ear. The real war hasn't started yet. The world had changed. Skyfire 1 had flown. And humanity had fought back. But victory was only temporary. Because now, the real attack had begun. On the 3rd night after Earth's defense began, the sky cracked open over Asia. Not 1, but 10 alien warships broke through the black ring in orbit, long, sharp, and glowing red at the edges. They made no sound, but the sky around them burned like fire. People looked up in terror. The stars disappeared. The skies turned. Red dotted Area 7. Alarms screamed. Multiple enemy ships inbound. Shouted a soldier. How many? Asked General Harper. Too many. Eli Carter stood inside the Skyfire 1 hangar, staring at the tactical screen. Red dots were pouring across the map like blood. His voice shook. They're not here to erase tech anymore. They're here to erase us. Kieran hovered beside him, glowing darker than usual. This is a planetary-level assault. They will destroy satellites, cities, power systems. They call it the Scorch, Eli whispered. Can we stop? Kieran replied. We can't stop it, but we can slow it. We can hurt them. The skies of Earth lit up like a battlefield. Alien ships descended over major cities: New York, Paris, Beijing, Cairo, Islamabad. They unleashed beams that burned through buildings, EMP pulses that shut down power grids, and drones that moved like swarms of metal insects. But Earth was ready. Skyfire jets, built from reverse-engineered alien parts, launched from hidden bases. Some were piloted by AI, others by humans trained quickly, but willing to die. And at the center of it all was Eli, guiding Skyfire 1 into the skies again. The ship rose from the runway. It was faster than before, smarter, deadlier. Kieran had installed new tech magnetic shields, beam disruptors, and a cannon made from the crashed Hunter's core. Eli gripped the controls. Let's make them regret crashing here. The battle above Earth was chaos. Alien ships weaved through clouds like sharks in water. Earth's jets dodged, fired, exploded, screamed. Skyfire 1 flew straight into the heart of it. Eli locked onto a destroyer-sized alien ship attacking New York. Kieran, target that cannon. Locked. Fire when ready. Eli pressed the trigger. The new cannon fired a beam of white-blue, light pure plasma. It tore through the alien ship like lightning through paper. Boom. The ship exploded in midair. The people below cheered, but for every alien ship they shot down, 2 more came. In Africa, the alien drones began melting water supplies. In Japan, entire power grids failed. In Brazil, a cloaked alien ship dropped a black device into the rainforest. Moments later, the trees began turning to ash. On Skyfire 1, Kieran warned Eli, "We're losing too many. They're using Earth's size against us." Eli shouted back, "Then we use their tech against them." He flew Skyfire 1 into orbit straight toward the black ring that acted as the aliens' arrival gate. Kieran spoke urgently. "That's suicide. One wrong move, and we get pulled into deep space." Eli narrowed his eyes. "Then I won't miss." As he neared the ring, 2 alien escorts spotted him. They fired dark energy bolts. Skyfire-1 dodged, rolled, spun, then returned, fire destroying both with pinpoint blasts. The ring loomed closer. Kieran targeted its central core. Core is unstable. If destroyed, it may collapse the entryway for new reinforcements. Eli smiled. "That's what I'm counting on." He locked on, fired both forward plasma cannons, and launched a high-density torpedo, one of only 2 Earth had built it. Hit the center of the ring with a blinding blast. The core cracked. The black ring began to collapse inward, folding in on itself like torn metal. Kieran yelled, "Eli, pull back now." Eli jerked the controls. Skyfire 1 spun out just as the ring tore apart, dragging one of the waiting enemy ships back into its own gateway. The rest vanished. Earth had blocked the gate. For now, back in orbit, Skyfire 1's system sparked. "We're hit, Kieran," said shields at 11%. "Hull damage," Eli breathed hard. "Can we make it home? If you don't black out first." Eli pushed the jet downward, flames licking the edges. The world below looked broken, cities dark, forests burning, oceans restless. But people were still fighting, still standing and watching. Skyfire 1 blazed through the clouds, gave them hope. As Eli landed, medics ran toward the ship. Technicians clapped, soldiers saluted. One general leaned in and said, "You're not just a pilot anymore, son. You're a symbol." Eli climbed out, his legs shaking. "I'm just doing what they did too. Us," he said, "showing them we don't break." But even as Earth celebrated, in deep space, a cube began to move. It was dark, massive, silent. A message echoed across the void. "Initiate final white protocol. Planet Earth is to be cleansed." Cliffhanger ending line. Skyfire 1 stood tall on the runway, damaged, scarred, but still flying. And Eli looked up at the stars. "Come," then he whispered. "Let's finish this." The stars looked quiet, but something was coming. Far beyond the moon, A dark cube the size of a city moved slowly through space. Silent, cold, no lights, no signals. But inside it was very much alive. It was not a ship. It was not a creature. It was the Wipa machine built to end civilizations. And Earth was next, at Area 7. The command room was tense. Screens showed the cube entering the solar system. It didn't move fast, but nothing stopped it. Not gravity, not asteroids, not the sun's heat. One scientist whispered, "It's not attacking. It's scanning." General Harper frowned. "Scanning for what?" Kieran, floating near Eli, answered quietly. "For life. It doesn't destroy armies. It destroys ecosystems. It doesn't fire weapons. It shuts down planets." Eli swallowed hard. "Can we destroy it?" "No, but we can delay it." World leaders met in secret. Some wanted to evacuate. Others wanted to surrender, but most knew there was nowhere to run. And surrender meant death. The president stood and said the words the world feared most. Earth is under full extinction threat. Back in the hangar, Skyfire 1 was being repaired fast. Crews worked day and night, placing damaged systems and upgrading the ship with what little alien tech remained. Kieran shared everything it could: maps, codes, energy readings. But nothing inside the database could stop the wipe, because the wipe was older than Kieran, older than most of the galaxy. It was not a weapon, it was a judgment. Eli sat alone, inside Skyfire 1, looking at the stars through the cockpit glass. He remembered the first night the crash, the glowing sphere. The fear in his chest now he was leading. Earth's defense. He was only 16, but he didn't feel like a kid anymore. Kieran spoke softly. "Eli, if I don't survive this, you must promise me something." "What? Don't let them forget. Don't let them become what they're fighting." Eli nodded. "Promise." The next morning, the cube reached the orbit of Mars. All communication from Mars bases went silent. Satellites stopped spinning. Rovers fell flat. Then Earth's sky flickered. Lights dimmed. Electric systems failed for 1 second. Then came back. But it was a warning. Earth had 1 week before the wipe reached orbit. Just 7 days to build. Something big enough to strike it. Sci-Fi 1 was strong but not strong enough. So the engineers began a second ship. Skyfire 2 twice. The size. With a core built from Kieran's ancient tech, Kieran gave Earth the last tool, a quantum link drive. It would allow Skyfire 2 to jump close to the cube, too close for missiles. The only way to hurt it is from the inside. But someone had to pilot it. Someone had to go into the cube. And maybe never return. Eli stood up. "I'll do it," the generals argued. "You're just a boy. You're not trained. You're Earth's symbol. We can't lose you." But Eli looked them in the eye. "You've already lost too many." Day by day, the cube grew closer. Cities darkened again. Tides shifted. Animals ran from forests. Insects went silent. The world felt like it was holding its breath. On day 6, Skyfire 2 was complete. Sleek, silent, black and silver, shaped like a blade inside it. Eli found something unexpected. A second Kieran Cora copy made from the original's data. Kieran spoke through both ships now. "But this one is faster, smarter. It may not come back." Eli took a deep breath. "Then let's make it count." The next morning before launch, Eli visited his mother for the last time. She didn't know everything, but she knew enough. He hugged her tight. She didn't cry. She simply said, "Make them remember who we are." Skyfire 2 launched from a hidden base in Antarctica, where the skies were clearest and the cube's signal was weakest. The ship rose in silence. Every camera on Earth watched it disappear into the dark sky. Eli's face appeared on screens for just a second. He said 4 words. "We don't go quietly." In space, Skyfire 2 reached high orbit. The cube was near. It filled the stars, black, smooth, without windows or doors, but Kieran found a weak point, a crack in the shell, probably used for energy intake. "If you fly straight into it, you'll reach the inner core." Eli nodded. "Let's finish this." The ship surged forward, alien defenses Activated beams, spinning drones, folding metal walls. Eli dodged them. All flying with skill no Earth pilot had ever shown. Kieran spoke like a heartbeat beside him, steady. 20 seconds to impact. The final shield opened. Eli pushed the controls forward. Skyfire flew straight into the crack, into the cube itself, inside. There was no sound, only white walls, humming lights, and floating machines. The ship began to shake. The wipe is activating, Kieran warned. We are inside its brain. Eli saw it. The core. A glowing. A swirling storm of red and black dot. This was it. He armed the ship's reactor. It would explode in 60 seconds. Kieran turned to him. Eli, if you stay, you won't survive. Eli smiled. I didn't come to survive. Cliffhanger. Ending line. Back on Earth. People looked up at the night sky and saw a silent explosion in space. The cube went dark, but no one knew yet. If Earth's hero had made it out alive, the world stood still. All screens showed the same thing. A silent sky. No cube, no light, just stars. People waited. Seconds passed. Then minutes. Still no word from Skyfire 2. No word from Eli in the command center. General Harper stared at the dark monitor. No signal, a tech whispered. His voice broke. He did it, didn't he? Kieran's voice came from the speaker. The wipe's core has collapsed. The threat is gone. Everyone gasped, but then Kieran added softly, Skyfire 2 is gone too. Across Earth, silence turned into tears. People lit candles. Some knelt and prayed. Others raised Earth's flag on rooftops. Eli Graves, 16 years old, had saved the planet, but no one knew if he was truly gone. 3 days later, something strange happened. A signal from deep space. Weak. Broken, but real. The tech teams rushed. To work, it was coming from Jupiter's shadow. The signal was just for words, sent again and again. Still here. Not done. General Harper ran to the screen. Track that signal. Kieran's voice burst through the room. It's Eli. He made it. People cheered. Some cried. Even the president wiped her eyes and whispered, Bring our boy home. Get orbit. Near. The gas giant's dark side. A tiny pod floated. Inside, Eli lay bruised, cold. And half-dash awake, SKYFIRE2 had exploded inside the cube, but at the last second, Kieran had pushed him into the escape module. He blacked out before seeing the flash. Now, floating alone in space, he smiled weakly. Guess we're not done yet. A rescue ship launched immediately. It reached Eli in less than a day. When the pod doors opened, 2 medics rushed inside. But Eli was awake, sitting up, grinning. You guys take forever. If Sky, warrior found. Alive, the boy who beat the stars. Skyfire lives. Eli returned to Earth 5 days later. The landing site was packed millions, waiting in silence. When he stepped out of the ship, the crowd roared like thunder. Eli didn't speak much, just smiled. He held up a small piece of black metal, the cube's core fragment. This, he said, was supposed to erase us. He pointed to the sky, but now we own the sky. A year later, Skyfire 1 and Skyfire 2 were now part of something bigger. The Earth Defense Fleet. Dozens of new ships floated in low orbit, sleek, powerful, built from both human and alien tech. Earth wasn't scared anymore. It was ready. Eli stood on the deck of the new flagship, Skyfire Prime, now 17, taller with short black hair and eyes full of fire. He wore no medals, no crown, but everyone followed him. He didn't want to rule. He just wanted to protect. Next to him floated Kieran, now fully integrated with Earth systems. Together, they led Earth's entry into the stars, no longer hiding, no longer weak across the galaxy. Alien races watched in silence. The crash of one small ship had changed everything. They saw Earth rise from dust and become a storm. Some wanted peace, some wanted war, but none would forget the message written in fire. Don't test Earth. Back on the ground. Eli visited the old crash site one last time, the place where it all began. It was quiet now. The trees had grown back. The crater had filled with water. Birds sang. He looked up at the sky. It was clear, blue, bright. His mom stood beside him. "You coming home?" she asked. Eli smiled. Home's bigger now. For years the galaxy remained silent. No ships approached. Earth no probes scanned its skies. No one dared to speak the planet's name in public. They called it the Forbidden World. But Earth never said a word. It just watched and waited. In the deep oceans of Earth, where no sunlight touched and pressure crushed all things. Something waited in silence. Older than the Colossus-class warship, stronger than the Shadow Fleet. It had no name on record. Not even humans spoke of it. They called it only one thing: the Sleeper. The treaty signed with the Galactic Union still held. No ships near Earth, no scans, no contact. And because of that, no one knew what humanity was building. Not in space, but below. Below ice, below Earth, below oceans. A system, a signal, a backup. Plan one day without warning, a faint pulse echoed through subspace. It wasn't loud, it wasn't aggressive. It was just ancient old Union satellites picked it up but couldn't translate it. It wasn't a message. It was a heartbeat. One pulse, then silence. In the far sectors of space, a rogue species, the Drex ignored the treaty. They didn't believe the legends, they thought. Earth had become soft, arrogant, weak, so they sent a stealth ship, cloaked. Small, fast its job. Scan Earth's oceans. Find the truth. Record everything. They never returned. 3 days later, every Drex military outpost vanished. No explosions, no wreckage. Just emptiness. Planets left cold and quiet. Fleets missing. Bases offline, their home world received one last transmission. It sees. 8. Then nothing. The council met again, this time in secret. Their voices trembled. Even Louver, once Earth's contact, spoke in whispers. They didn't fire a weapon. They didn't move a ship. They just erased them. One elder leaned forward. What did the Drex wake up? No one had an answer. But deep inside Earth's waters, the Sleeper opened one eye. Just for a second, back. On Earth, people lived normal lives. Children played. Cities glowed at night. There were no soldiers on the streets, no wars, no panic. But everyone knew what lay beneath them. It was taught in every school not to scare but to prepare. The galaxy isn't kind. Trust peace, but build for war. Never forget the silence. Before the scream, some historians later called this the Age of Quiet Strength. Humanity didn't conquer, they didn't expand, but they were everywhere. Whispers of human agents, advisors and machines spread through. Every major empire, not controlling, just watching, always watching. One alien writer from the Ilvari wrote, "Humanity does not conquer worlds, they conquer fear itself." And they plant it inside their enemies, forever. The book was banned across half the Union, but everyone read it. Anyway, because deep down, they all knew. Earth hadn't stopped, was just waiting for the next mistake. 1,000 years passed. Treaties changed. Governments fell. New species joined the stars. But Earth's status stayed the same. Do not enter. Do not scan. Do not speak to the silence. Until one day, a child was born on an outer world, half human, half something else. She asked her father, "Is Earth real?" He smiled, but didn't answer. That night, she had a dream in it. She saw a massive eye. Deep underwater, it looked at her. Then closed again, back in orbit, high above Earth. The Colossus-class warship Talos had never moved. For centuries, it stayed silent, dormant. But now, its engines began to glow again, just faintly. And in the command core of the ship, a single message lit up. Signal confirmed. Sleeper awakening. Prepare for return. In the darkest part of Earth's oceans, the ground shook. Stones split. Ancient locks melted away. Something older than fear began to rise. Not fast, not loud, but certain. And as it moved, one final message was sent into deep space. Short, simple, but terrifying. We are coming. The end.